Today, I want to address the issue of romantic love and attachment styles from the aspect of two people who are broken, and when they join together, how that usually looks like. Relationships are very important in our sense of actualizing our sense of contentment and our sense of belonging. Every one of us tries to find a person they can bond with. From the moment we are born, we are seeking bonding with another human being, feeling secure. And so it is very important for us to pay attention the way that we seek bonds with other people. The goal usually of attachment styles is to be able, number one, to identify what your attachment style is, and number two, to grow into being a securely attached person. If I am broken and I am afraid of being alone, being vulnerable, and I have this need, which is normal, to bond with another human being, what happens is that if I find somebody who's willing to listen to me, validate what I'm feeling, they are not going to dismiss my feelings, they are not going to judge my feelings, but they just let me be myself, I get attracted to that person and I develop an emotional bond with them because of their compassion and their willingness to hear me out. Now, the thing is, every relationship that we get into begins there because we are interested, we are curious, we want to know you, you are a new person. And so the first few weeks of getting into a romantic relationship, we are very attentive to one another. There is a lot of hormonal reactions. So both of us are really experiencing a need to get to know each other, a need to be together, and a need to talk and be deeply connected with each other. What happens as the relationship continues to grow? It goes into the season where there is a plateau. The curiosity is not as much because you have gotten a lot of information and now you are relaxing into this relationship. And that is when we say that you stop looking at the relationship with your rose-eyed eyes and you begin to look at the relationship in reality. So you realize that this person that was a fantasy in your mind, the person that was all loving and all kind and compassionate and empathetic, you realize that they are not perfect. And when that begins to happen, there is a way that you begin to experience a feeling of disappointment, a feeling of disillusionment, a feeling of anxiety. Was this real? Were they really who they said they were? And once we get into that space, now the insecure attachment styles begin to show. You will find the fearful avoidant will begin to kind of avoid a lot of coming in, getting vulnerable and all of that. The anxious preoccupied, they begin to feel a lot of anxiety and they question, they lecture, they begin to really pull this person back in because they are triggered to think that this person is going to leave them. So what happens when the relationship begins to be to get into this realistic space? Then it begins to trigger the fears, to trigger the anxieties that you have about relationships. When you have a conflict in your relationship, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to question and evaluate the fantasies that you have about the other person. Make sure that you are in love with the real person, not with who you want them to be. You need to be a student of your spouse so that you can get to know them, and getting to know them, you get to embrace who they are. Do not see them through the eyes of who you want them to be, because that's not realistic. And that is where now the anxiety begins to grow. One of the things that happens with a preoccupied, anxious person is that they hold on to the fantasy that was there, the dream stage of the relationship or the honeymoon stage of the relationship, when the emotions were very high. The preoccupied, anxious individual keeps hoping that that will come back. That is why it's important that you understand, as an individual, school yourself on the seasons of relationships so that when your relationship goes into that reality space, that you don't panic You don't begin to say now they are looking for someone else, because you are going to create the very fear that is driving you to do certain things, like looking at people's phones, questioning where they have been, questioning their friendships with the friends that you found them with, criticizing some of their personal habits. When you begin to go into that space, then you are going to create the very fear that is plaguing you. Know yourself and then work on the things that you know are a problem when you are in a relationship. And if you do that and you create the pathway for you to get into the secure space of attachment, of bonding, then you will be at a better space to have successful relationship. The issue of trauma bonding, where you bond with a person because you need them to heal something within you. When the relationship begins to go into this reality, you are going to be disappointed. You are going to start questioning the relationship, questioning the person, and you are going to feel like you are going to be left, that they are not going to stay here for the long haul. So you find yourself becoming very needy. And if you are with a dismissive, avoidant individual, what will happen is that they are not able to handle your neediness. So it's important to understand the wound that you have when you go into a relationship, so that you are not expecting the relationship to heal the wound, because it can't. So if you are with a person and that person is wounded themselves, then they can't be able to help you, and you will be disappointed and you will create the same thing that you have been trying to run away from. That's why it's so important for you to heal your pains first, especially when you recognize them. I don't need to be reaching out and complaining to my significant other about what they are not doing to make me happy. I need to be able to set myself aside and say, hey, why is it that I am feeling so depressed because of a relationship? And take charge of your own emotions. Go for therapy. Walk with a therapist to help you heal some wounds. Most of us know the reason why we feel depressed in a relationship is because we are disappointed, because sometimes we have created the same type of relationship we have had before that was harmful to us. So if you can be able to recognize that, then instead of projecting that on your spouse, even if they are the ones who are triggering those emotions in you, find your personal healing first. Go and say, hey, I need to really figure out, why is this relationship causing me so much depression? I can't work, I can't think right, my relationships with other people are not even meaningful, I'm withdrawing from people, I'm not able to make decisions. You want to say to yourself, why is it that this relationship is causing me to go into those health-related spaces, so that you can heal and be able to look at this relationship realistically, what it can provide for you. So until I see you next time, I hope that you can reach out to me so that I can be able to work with you, support you, and actually do more personalized work with you according to where you are in your life. Until then, continue to live by design, and God bless you.